On this, we can go to Kyiv and our correspondent, Gulliver Cragg. Good morning, Gulliver. It's 3 years to the day since Russia expanded its invasion for Ukraine to the whole country. What's the mood like on this anniversary?
Well, in a way, it feels a bit like the mood just before the full-scale invasion started 3 years ago, in the sense that people are going about their daily lives in Kyiv, wondering how long they're going to be able to carry on going about their daily lives, and if something cataclysmic isn't about to happen in the coming months, because hopes that the United States will be able to negotiate with Russia and come up with a peace plan that is acceptable to Ukraine are fading rapidly. And there is a strong sense that Ukraine may have no alternative but to fight on, possibly without the United States, if that's what happens. Most people that I've spoken to say that they think that that's what Ukraine must do, that Ukraine cannot accept any kind of deal that would allow Vladimir Putin to achieve his aim either in the short term or in the medium term of essentially regaining full control over Ukraine. Yesterday, there were press conferences by Ukraine's top leadership, including the intelligence services, and one of the main messages that they were saying is that they have no indication that Moscow has abandoned its initial objectives in Ukraine, which was essentially regime change. So on the one hand, there's a determination to fight on, but then if you look at the amount of men who've been fleeing the country, the resistance to mobilization that there is, it's not clear that on an individual basis there are that many people who are still willing to risk their lives and to go and fight for it. They say one thing, but then what they do is perhaps more indicative. But that may change if people feel that there really is no alternative other than absolute defeat. We'll see what happens, but there's certainly this very big fear. There's also a certain reminiscent of 3 years ago atmosphere of the country coming together, feeling united, and I think an increase in support for President Volodymyr Zelensky, who, despite multiple criticisms of his government over recent months for numerous reasons, including corruption, I think that most people think that the way he's handled this turn from the Trump administration, these insults coming from Donald Trump and so on, has been pretty much impeccable considering the incredibly difficult circumstances he's in.
Ursula von der Leyen and a host of European leaders are arriving in Kyiv this morning for a special summit. What can we expect to see come out of that?
Well, Volodymyr Zelensky said that we can expect a whole lot. He even said that this summit might be a turning point. 13 leaders, he said, are going to be coming in person. I believe the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is among them. I don't think we've got the names of all the others. Of course, without the support of the United States, what Ukraine needs to do now is shore up its support from Europe. And Volodymyr Zelensky says they're going to be announcing an important new package of aid. So it will be very indicative of how much Europe is willing to step up and increase its support for Ukraine. But remember, yesterday in Germany, nearly a third of the German electorate voted for parties that are essentially pro-Russian. So it's not clear that there is the electoral support in Europe for increasing support for Ukraine yet. The Ukrainians think that maybe the Europeans, when they realize that the United States are no longer on their side, they're going to change their attitude. That was actually the tone that Friedrich Merz, who's going to be the new German Chancellor, took in his speech after the election victory last night.
Thank you very much for that, Gulliver Cragg in Kyiv.